Hi everyone, it's Emma and Shannon from Arise, and today we're here to share with you all the different foreign language classes that we have with Arise for the school year 26-27. We're going to start off talking about our modern languages.
Yeah.
So, Shannon, what is the first modern language that we have on offer?
Well, we have Spanish as well as French. And for those two, those are beginning Spanish and beginning French. And so that's technically probably KS3 level. So for your students that are 11 and 12, and then upward. So you can start a language anytime, um, in my book, at least. But these are the courses that if you're considering sitting a GCSE in a foreign language. You're going to want to do these first. They're also great places if you're not sure, if your student isn't sure what language they want to choose, if they're really going to like it, if they have what it takes to go further with GCSE, then start with the beginning and move up from there and let it be like a taster class. For those doing US high school credit. These beginner classes also count as like year one high school. It's the same style and curriculum. And so that works through um, if you were going to do beginning, intermediate, and then GCSE for 2 years. That's 4 years of language, foreign language. So that's how that works for that. So that's beginning Spanish and beginning French, both with Kate, who is an excellent tutor for both of those. And so we're excited to have her there. And then we also have German. Do you want to tell us about German?
Yeah, we've got this year we already have on offer beginner German with Bella. And so we'll still have beginner German for 26-27, but we'll also have intermediate German. So beginner and intermediate German together would lay a brilliant foundation for anyone looking to go on to do either Nat 5 German or GCSE German. Both of those are also would be able to be put on the US transcript as credit.
Right.
Similarly, just with the same idea with the French and the German, these could be looked at as KS3 type classes, but obviously if you have an older teen and they want to just pick it up, and there's older teens in the beginner German now that have thought, I actually want to try and learn German, and they're sitting this, they're doing the beginner German class, and it's Bella is a wonderful teacher. She's got such a lovely, unique style, and that the beginner German class has been a real hit with those students who have taken it this year. So
Yeah.
that is beginner German and intermediate German. And we have on, I'll link it in below with the German classes. There is a link to a placement test. If your teen has done a little bit German and you think actually I don't know, they might have too much for the beginner class. There's a placement test that we can link down for the German so you know exactly where would be the best place to slot in there.
Great.
So these are our modern languages. We also have it's not a live class, but as a currently spoken language in everyday life, Scottish Gaelic. So this is a self-paced class taught by Agnes, who is um native Gaelic speaker. She grew up speaking Gaelic, and Gaelic is having a bit of a renaissance moment in Scotland. And so anyone that wants to learn with their families, this is a fantastic class. Agnes has built it out so that you're learning with your children, and this would be for any age group. You could do this with young children and learn as a family, or for teens. So we've got the self-paced. Gaelic as well. So these are modern languages, currently spoken languages, but we also have some ancient languages. Shannon, would you like to share about our Latin classes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Jessica doing our Latin classes. And so the first class is Latin A. So we're splitting using alpha designations, if you will. So Latin A and Latin B for the lower years. And then once we get into the form Latin, like Latin Form 1, which is more toward high school and beyond, then we're using 1, 2, and we'll carry on from there. So Latin A, for all of this, we're using Memoria Press. And so Latin A will be using Prima Latina. And it's actually for primary aged kids, but it's excellent even for students that it's their first go at Latin. And so if they're 11 in this class, that's great. It's the perfect place to start to begin the journey with Latin consecutively through Prima Latina, and then Latina Christiana is Latin B, and then on to the third year if they choose. And all of those classes again would count toward high school credit. It would probably be Latina Christiana would and Latina Prima Latina, I'm sorry, those two together would be equal to 1 credit because they're geared toward a younger age group, so they don't quite have the rigor for high school, but if you put them together, you could get that. Um, so Latin A with Prima Latina, the way the course is set up is for this younger age group and for the rigor of the course because it's geared toward upper primary. It's a 40-minute class instead of two 40-minute classes each week. It's a single 40-minute class. They'll get through the whole curriculum in a year. And then they're set up for Latin B, which is Latina Christiana, which would then be two 40-minute sessions each year. And onward, once they get into um, Latin Form 1, then it's pretty rigorous and they will have need to have had these previous years, either with Memoria Press's curriculum or some other curriculum. And people can just message us and let us know their experience and where they're at with things. We have investigated the whole IGCSE with Latin, and if that is something that someone is interested in, you in talking with Cambridge, what we found out is that it would take all 4 years through Latin Form 4, plus a little bit of a supplement because Memoria Press doesn't align equally with the Cambridge exam, but they would need all of that to be able to do the Cambridge exam. And then a little bit of just a supplement of, practicing just for the Cambridge exam with the set text that Cambridge would have at the time and that kind of thing. So that's a little bit different, but it still is doable for the person that really wants to take it all the way through all 4 levels and beyond. Okay, so that I think is Latin.
It's Latin.
Jessica's excellent in there. The students love her and are learning so much, and we're thrilled to have her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And our final language, another ancient language, is Biblical Hebrew, which we spoke about when we are talking about our Bible kind of base classes for obvious reasons. Ashley Hibbard will be tutoring GCSE Biblical Hebrew. So this is you can be studying Biblical Hebrew and sit an exam, get a GCSE,
Yeah.
but also have that knowledge of Biblical Hebrew. So it's an absolutely amazing course, and I'm amazed that this is an opportunity that our students can have
Yeah.
to be really look at the nuts and bolts, as Ashley says, looking under the hood.
Yeah. I have a couple friends who they're younger friends. They've just like graduated university seminary actually. And one of the things he said to me is anybody that's thinking about seminary, even just contemplating it in their high school years, get the language courses under your belt as soon as you can because you'll only build and go deeper once you get into seminary and higher education with that. And this course specifically is set up to be, it's gentle and it meets the GCSE exam specs, but it's also what you would get at seminary the first year.
Mm.
So you're building into that, and such a great investment for those that want to dig into Hebrew. You'll learn the writing, you'll learn the reading, and the interpretation, and really, if nothing else, it's just going to expand your understanding and knowledge of the Bible, of the Old Testament especially, and the beauty of the Old Testament.
Yeah,
So that's our languages. All our courses can be reserved for £50. You can save your seat for £50 in any course. I suppose the self-paced course that doesn't follow for that one, but all the live courses.
yeah,
And we also have several live lesson samples. So if you want to take a peek, there is that sample lesson bundle that people can get. And just take a look and see what it's like, see what your kids think. And then ask us questions if you have them. We are happy to answer. And all of these classes, I believe, will run with 4 or 6 students. It's one or the other, depending on the class. And so that's Spanish beginning, beginning French, beginning and intermediate German, Latin, 3 years of 3 different years of Latin, beginning or IGCSE level Hebrew, year one, and Gaelic at home, which is self-paced. So it's just a great bundle of things to choose from as people are thinking, what do I want to do beyond, your core four of math, science, history, and English. So it's a great places to plug some things in. So yeah, so that's what we have.
Brilliant. Check them out. All the links are below. Thank you.